here at Dane Keller Jr.'s shop. We're going to teach you something here about tires. He just picked himself up a new set of Hoosiers over at Scott Jeffrey's Performance Plus, but there's one more thing he has to do to it. How are we doing today, Dane?
Not too bad. How are you?
Good. I've heard of cutting. I've heard of siping. What are we doing today?
We're just going to groove. Basically, with the 25 compound tires, we're allowed to just cut these squares out just to make them a little bit deeper.
Okay.
To help out with a little bit more clearing of the tire, maybe a little bit more traction, a little side bite.
So as that flexes, as it goes through the corner, it gives you a little bit more bite by opening that up a little bit?
It just basically just opens up a little bit more of the channel. I'm sure it helps with multiple things. I don't know, I've never compared to see if it actually helps my lap tire out, but this is what everyone tells you to do, so this is what we do. If it was a 55, you're allowed to pretty much cut or groove whatever you want, but with the 25s, you're only allowed to cut the square.
Okay. Now, this is what's called a block tire, by the way. If you look at the pattern and you compare it to like a modified or a sportsman, they look like little S's. This is a block tire. So what is this piece we have right here? It's heated up almost like a wood burner, right?
Yeah, it's just a tire iron. Basically, it'll just allow you to...
Throw it a little lower so we can see it, Dane?
Yep.
So that's all it took out right there. Just
it'll just take a little piece of rubber out. You'll just deepen that groove up, and then basically you'll do one this way as well, right in that groove. The best you can, I guess. I need a little more practice at it, but
yeah, you were telling me that
just kind of
open
up the square just a little bit more.
And you told me you don't want to go down too far because this tire will wear. You'll have to do this maybe several more times before the tire's done.
I think on the initial, if you go too deep on the initial, you'll end up obviously you can just rip the chunks right out. So I try not to go too deep. I try to go just a little shallow with it, and then in a few weeks I'll try to do it again. That way you can kind of keep most of the tire there instead of chunking and basically ripping it apart. Try to get the most life as possible out of it.
And again, what are we calling this? Grooving or siping? And what's the difference?
This is grooving. Siping is if I was using the other side and you just did some slices, which on a 25 you're not allowed to sipe. You're only allowed to just do a little small grooving on this square only, and then you can do a scuff. Scuffing with a sandpaper kind of thing with a grinder.
Or just taking it out and running it. I mean, do we grind it first before we run it, or do we just run it like this?
Usually I just do like a light grind. I mean, I might go to like a practice session and then grind them, but obviously the practice session seems like they've been canceling out, so
they have.
We're probably going to just kind of grind them and just get a feature set ready, and then the other tires we'll just leave them as is.
Okay, and again, explain the difference again between cutting and what were the two terms you used again? I'm sorry.
You got grooving and you got siping.
All right, siping is?
So grooving is just basically like just taking that small groove out. Siping is if I was to use like the razor blade side and just make like an actual slit in here.
Okay.
You're not allowed to sipe on a 25 compound tire unless they change the rule. But
what's the compound number? What does that mean?
The 25 is basically, I don't know if it actually measures as a 25, but it's supposed to be the softer tire of the two.
Okay.
I believe they durometer at a 25, but I've never actually checked that out.
Okay.
And then the 55 is obviously the harder tire, which I think with the 20 lap races is pretty hard to get the 55s really up to enough temp to really where it benefits you over the 25. So most guys run the 25s. I'm sure if you go to a couple tracks, you might put like a 55 right rear on, something of that nature. But yeah, you're only allowed to do just this little bit on the 25s. That's all you're allowed to really do. That and a grind.
Do you have to go on the lines, or can you cut in between?
Nope, you're supposed to be right in these squares.
Okay, so we would never cut.
Yeah, I can't actually cut like back here or anything like that. I can't cut right here. You can only do that on the 55s.
Okay. How do you learn to do this? Because this looks like it takes some getting used to and some practice.
Oh yeah, I mean you're just around racing long enough. The modified guys, you just learn from grooving from them, and then obviously every class has their own rules, so you kind of have to see what the rule says you're allowed to do. And I mean, you can pick one of these up for I think about $50-$60, so they're not too bad. And the little the little blades there, they're $5 a pack or so, and you just kind of go at it. That's about it, really. Okay.
So again, hope you guys learned something. We're going to try to learn a lot of stuff this summer. We're going to bring you guys along with it. I'm learning. I've watched guys do this before. Yeah. Some have their little patterns. They don't like to give away their secrets. Some, so it's one of those things that unless you've been in the pits, you've probably never seen them do this. Dane, thanks for showing us, man. I really appreciate this.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
It's Blue Eye. Guys, keep learning with me this summer here on the Elkins Video Productions channel.